Hey everyone, I hope you're having a fantastic day so far. I just want you to ask yourself this question. How many times do you lie to yourself? How many times do you tell yourself something that isn't true? In today's video, I want to talk about the lies that we tell ourselves. And this was very much inspired through working or co-hosting with somebody on Instagram Lives who's read this book, and I thought, let me check out this book too. If you don't know who I am already, my name is Michael Tabaradi, high performance coach and mentor, and I help self-starters and ambitious professional millennials increase their productivity, enhance their performance, realize their priorities, and live their life on purpose. Now, if this is the first time you've come to my YouTube channel, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And as always, all the links are in the description below. Now let's get into the video. A little bit of a tongue twister, but I feel like I have to do it now. Now, in this book, this person called Dr. S. Courtney, I believe, basically was thinking about a thesis. She has a psychology background in terms of what she wanted to write about. And she ended up speaking about or writing about the lies that she tells herself. Now, it's not just her. We all tell ourselves lies. Now, if you want to check out this video, you can check out the TED Talk in the link below. But essentially, she breaks down from different schools of thought why we lie to ourselves. So rationalization, we lie to ourselves because we're trying to justify why we're doing X rather than Y. Or it may be the fact that we're projecting our lies onto someone else when really we feel a certain way. Now, amongst all of these different sort of like examples, the fact of the matter is we lie to ourselves because we're scared of the truth. We're scared to be honest about our situation. I'll give you an example. I remember when I was in tens of thousands of pounds of debt, okay? And I mean, I wanted to live this lifestyle where I was building this business and making all this money, etc., etc. But I realized that I wasn't able to get ahead because I didn't have the capital, the disposable income to accelerate my business or to do things that I wanted to do. Because really and truly, what was holding me back was this huge debt. And the truth basically said, Mike, you need to humble your spirit, you need to slow right down, and you need to focus on paying off this debt. That's what you need to do. Because if you don't, you're going to end up in the same rut, going round in circles again and again and again and again. And you're not going to get anywhere. You've got this vision and this imagination of the person that you're called to be, and yet you're not being mature enough to actually stay grounded in doing the things you said you're going to do long after the feeling gone. What that really means is, if I want to be this big shot or this person that did the things that they said they wanted to do, I needed to get the basics right. I said that's so common. I need to get the basics right. And what that means is that I needed to address the things that were blocking me. I mean, psychology shows, and this is through the cycle of experience model, that we go through this cycle of experience, okay? So we have a sensation, then there's this level of self-awareness that we have, and then with that self-awareness, we take action, and with that action, there's a level of contact where, you know, we're at the epitome of that experience, and then we withdraw from that experience because now it's done, like we've done it. I mean, that's not all the steps within the cycle, but that's basically abbreviating it. But sometimes that cycle can't work because one, there's so many different sensations we get for so many different things, but two, we get blocked, okay? Sometimes we get blocked. And when we get blocked at the self-awareness stage or the action stage or the contact stage or whatever it may be, we're not able to feel satisfied. Human beings want to achieve. Human beings want to feel satisfied. And we can't do that if we're creating those blocks. What am I really saying? You need to be brutally honest to self. You need to be. That is your haven. That is your saving grace, because if you don't commit to brutal honesty, then what will end up happening is that you'll continue to lie to yourselves and you'll get to a point where you are so deep in your lies that it's very hard to overcome what you're trying to do. It's very hard to actually move towards that Northern Star. In this book, The Lies We Tell Ourselves, Dr. S. Courtney basically says, the truth always reveals itself. We are always working towards the truth. It will always pop up. So if you want a more efficient life, well, basically what's being said is that the less lies you commit to yourself, the more efficient your life becomes, the more aligned to your sense of purpose, values, and mission you are. Now you decide what your purpose is, so to speak, whatever that means, okay? I mean, sometimes the word purpose can feel like a huge pressure. I like the whole idea of who are you becoming. I'm sure you've heard many people say this before, but you define that. You define that, as they say in a Stoic culture or philosophy, should I say, based on your judgments. Okay. You decide that based on your values, i.e. what is important to you. You decide that based on what principles you want to stick to. And so one of those principles must be not lying to yourself, committing to brutal honesty, having a sense of authenticity, which really means you're aligning to a state that doesn't allow you to necessarily lie. That's one of the hardest things you're probably going to do. And that's probably going to be the things, or the thing, should I say, that makes you successful, whatever that means to you. So if you just buckle down and you take the time to be honest to yourself, then my friends, I promise you, life will look very different in a positive way. It will start painful. It will, because you won't be used to this, but you have to get used to it. Because if you don't, what will end up happening is that you start committing to those lies again and you start having a more miserable life. I don't know if this is necessarily true, but within the book, it highlighted that those people who lie to themselves more were less likely going to have a fulfilled life. Happens all the time. You know, we see it on social media. We see it when we're talking to our friends. Rather than saying you got, a C, you want to say, oh, I got a B+. Okay? Rather than saying that, that person broke up with me, you want to say, I broke up with them. Rather than admitting to yourself, and I don't want anyone to take this the wrong way, I am not in the body that I'm supposed to be in, based on your preferences, you want to say, I'm okay. When deep down you don't feel okay. And so that level of honesty needs to be brutal, okay? It needs to be. You need to get to that, because if you can't do that to yourself, when someone else does it to you, you're going to become broken. But it may be the best thing that you need. And so with that in mind, this is all to say, stop chatting rubbish. I was going to say the other word. Stop chatting rubbish. Almost said it there. And commit to a life of honesty to self first. When you commit to that honesty of self first, then you become more honest to other people. What makes people attractive? What makes people magnetic? And this is in the book, The Go-Giver. Effectively, people who are themselves. Effectively, people who are genuine. They're attractive to people. They are almost contrarian, so to speak, because it almost feels a bit rare to be oneself, to really be yourself, and to share your story with other people. You don't have to say everything, but as long as you commit to honesty, that's the most important thing. So my friends, this is all to say that if you want a successful life, if you want a more fulfilled life, if you want a life full of meaning, you have to commit to a level of honesty. And that means being brutally honest. Be aggressive with that honesty. Look in that accountability mirror, as David Goggins would say. And yeah, things will work out for you. So if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you can get other videos like this. And as always, understand, reach, and expand. Peace.